Okay, well, good evening, everybody. Gregory and Robin here.
Hi, everybody.
Happy Monday. Hope everyone's well.
Welcome to our Monday evening community call. We're so grateful that
Keeping
you're
up.
here. And as you know, most all of you, that we get together on Monday nights to see what's going on in LifeWave land, what's going on with Live Younger. And tonight we have a really special treat because we have someone really special and near and dear to our heart that has been there since the beginning. Oh, there we are.
It's true. And I know that David's going to be joining us any moment, and I'm just going to kind of tee it up. Um, LifeWave has gone through what I'm calling the first two waves, the first 14 years, the last 7 years, and where are we going from here? And we thought, there's nobody better to talk about. And David, if you're on, just raise your hand so I can find you in the listing there. There's no one better to talk about what happened during those 14 years than other than David Schmidt. It would be David Jumper because there you are. Okay, Robin found you, and I think we got you promoted out to. Did you promote him? There
Yep.
we go.
Yay.
Okay. And his audio is going to start in a moment. Then he'll turn his
And
camera on.
so we can see them.
Yeah. So in the early days, there was the David and the David. And really seems, there you go, David. If you can unmute and turn your camera on, we'll pass the baton to you to talk about the first wave.
Where it all began.
Let's see if we can, oh, make co-host.
Just to start video.
Firm.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Can hear you.
Yeah, there we go. Nice little echo going. And if you start your video, we'll see you. Huh.
We love technology, don't we?
It's a lot harder to communicate with people who live down in the Bahamas and the islands.
It's a rough life, but someone's got to do it.
That's right.
There
There he
he
is.
is. Hi.
Our Bahama master.
Uh,
So, David, I don't know how much of the intro I said, but 21 years ago when David got this idea I guess he got the idea, 22 or 23 years ago, but 21 years ago when he started LifeWave, you were one of the first ones to join the team. So, really, in many regards, it was a David and David show. He ran the company, and you built most of the field. I think the majority of the field organization worldwide is in your organization. You and Chuck Michaels kind of own that position up there at the top. So, just for a little while, I know you've got guests coming and you can't spend a lot of time with us, but if you'd just like to share with us what those first 14 years, what I'm calling the first wave, what those first 14 years were like, trials, tribulations, and you hung in there. Many people, how many people have we all spoken to? This is, oh, I was in LifeWave. Yeah, too bad you didn't stay in LifeWave, you know? So with that, I'm going to turn it over to you, David.
okay.
Oh, well, we still got no sound.
The sound is terrible.
Oh, there we go. We got you now with an echo. Try again. Yeah, we're not hearing anything. You're muted again. Try unmuting.
Should I send him the phone number?
Uh,
Okay. How's that?
Perfect.
You did it.
All right.
Now I can't hear myself.
Okay.
Hey, everybody. Lots of fun here.
Yeah, it's getting a good echo. I don't know why, but do you have your phone on also?
You called me on that. I wonder if
I think it
that
might
might
still be
be
hooked up.
it. I don't think so, but I'll turn it off
But
anyway.
you're sounding good.
Yeah,
I don't hear an echo.
I think the echo went away.
Yeah, I'm
And
turning that off. There we go.
Okay.
well, thank you for being with us this evening and sharing your wisdom and background with our community, David.
Well, my pleasure. It's great to be here. I'm still getting an echo, which drives me crazy.
Yeah, we are too.
So
You
maybe I
want
should just try logging off and coming back on.
yeah, why don't you go ahead and do that and we'll do a little filler in
Okay,
the
thank you.
meanwhile.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
We know about fillers.
We know about filler. I'm going to go ahead and share
Mhm.
my screen. And because there's a couple other things we could talk about. Let's talk about boot camp. Hey, any Canadians on the phone with us?
Yay.
Well, it's going to be awesome coming up a little over a week from now. You want to try see if there's still an echo, David? We can still see you, and that's odd. He was going to log out, but it looks like it's frozen. Yep.
We'll figure this out.
So we may need to give a jumper guest, co-host.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm happy to say that next Friday morning, I'm going to be boarding a plane to Calgary, Alberta, and look forward to seeing some of our Canadian friends and partners there. And it's going to be along with, I guess, Garrett, Janine, and Shirley are also going to be there from corporate. So it's going to be a wonderful, wonderful event. And I know the company is actually going to be all over Toronto, Canada, from Toronto to Winnipeg, then Calgary, and then wrapping up in Vancouver. So if anyone can be there, that'd be awesome. And let's see if David is back in yet. Not yet.
It might be under D though. That's why I had it there.
Okay.
So we're just looking for David when he returns. Yeah, just keep it there. Yeah.
Okay. So Calgary,
So this is
Canada.
the first time they're doing a boot camp in Canada, which is very exciting. And the company, and Janine is a natural Canuck, and she has a very, very big
That's true. I
spot
forgot
in
about
her
that.
heart for the potential that is massive up in Canada and wants to really, really help develop it. So it's wonderful that she'll be there along with Garrett and Shirley, which, if you guys haven't met Shirley yet, boy, are you in for a treat. She's the Western Regional Manager, and apparently they hired a Central Regional Manager. We haven't met him yet, but we're looking forward to that. And so it's going to be a wonderful time up in Canada. And we know that things have been, we our hearts definitely go out to our precious neighbors to the north because you guys have been through a lot when they took away your products and then they took away the PIB, but you guys are so resilient. It's amazing. Amazing. And I just want to send my love and congratulations to all of you for hanging in there. And we did, many of you know last week we talked about it. We lost one of our great leaders from Canada who was a big voice for all of the Canadians. And he's now working from a bigger venue in heaven. So God bless you, Carl Krebs. We love you and appreciate all that you did because he loved LifeWave, and he even had a strategy for truckers to transition on exit 39. Yeah,
How great was
that's what
that?
he talked about a lot.
Hmm.
So let's see if David has shown up yet. Not yet. Well, let's just continue working through the newsletter and
Okay.
we'll when he comes on, we'll
So these were some of the announcements in today's LifeWave weekly update. And if you didn't get a copy, you can click, if you get our newsletter, you can click here. There's a hot link, but there's a testimonial contest that's still going on. And so if you got a hot testimonial, you might win something. I wasn't really aware it was even going on, but they got some sample winners up there.
Yes, and I will talk about the unique emails because they're sending emails out now. I know they are because I know people that have received some of them. And it's really, really important. If you're someone who takes care of other people and uses your email, it's going to be vitally important as of 2/25, which is a few days from now, because they will not allow your one email can be used only on one account. And so if you are managing someone's account, I mean, I take care of a few people that are elderly and don't use a computer and whatever. So I created an extra email for them. And you can always go into Gmail and create an extra email, and you can give them access if they want it, and you have access, but it's really a good idea for you to do that sooner versus later, because those letters are going out now, and you've probably received some if you have your email on more than one account. Okay?
And
So
you know, it's really easy to start a secondary Gmail account, you know, in your mother's name or your children's name, or you know, if you're managing multiple accounts to satisfy the company's need, you may just want to. Are you going to
I
promote?
got them.
Okay, you may just want to start another account for them. Okay, I think David's coming back.
He is. He's just
Okay.
getting situated as a panelist here. He just has to accept it and we'll move forward. But right now, let's just keep talking until he gets himself figured out. Okay. So David just need to accept. He knows that.
Okay. So we talked about the boot camp.
We haven't gone to Dallas yet.
Oh, yeah, we didn't talk about the Dallas boot camp, but that's a little bit more time there for that. That's not until April.
Yes, but that's coming up too. It's amazing how fast things are going. And yesterday was the completion of the qualification for the Hula Points. And we
Woohoo.
just want to, congratulate each and every one of you that has achieved that incentive trip. We are going to have a blast in Hawaii with a lot of you, which will be really, really, really wonderful. And there he is.
There he
I
is.
think I'm back.
All right. So good. Well, I'll just tee it up one more little bit, just so we might clip this and start it over. And you know, so let's see. 21 years ago, David gave birth to LifeWave, and at the birth party was David Jumper. So from our perspective, it became the David and David show. David Schmidt's running the company, and you, David Jumper, and your beloved wife Spira, you know, really launching the field organization. And to this day, the majority of the organization is in your downline. You and Chuck Michaels have everybody, your sponsor. So we're just so blessed to be on your team and to have you always out there, you know, rooting for us. But those first 14 years, Wild West, I've been around a few network marketing startups and none of them exist anymore. Sorry to say, but we withstood the test of time thanks to you, my friend. So I'm going to turn it over to you. Just share a little bit about the first wave, if you will.
Absolutely. I've never had so many challenges getting on a Zoom before. So my apologies. There must be
It's okay.
some force that doesn't want me to be on here tonight.
Okay.
Anyway, just great to see everybody. This has been it's just wonderful joining you here and sharing a little bit about the beginning of LifeWave. Back in 2004, after 14 years I spent in full-time in network marketing, I was looking for a new company, an owner with integrity. I'd gone through the mill with a bunch of companies that were a lot of deception, and it was moving from company to company every couple of years, it seemed, because the companies would keep letting us down. It was never the field generally. It was always the company's poor decisions, etc. But more often than not, it was really lack of integrity. And I was looking for a company and an owner, with integrity, basically. I shared, what I was looking for with some friends of mine, and a friend of mine who's actually no longer with LifeWave had, shared the LifeWave energy enhancer with me. Called me up. He was hyperventilating. He was so excited about the energy enhancer patches that he, just to get him off the phone, I just agreed to, anything he said, just, just to get him off the phone. I said, go ahead, send me some patches, no problem. So he sent me some patches, and I got them in the mail, and opened up this little number 10 envelope with a baggie inside, and a brochure that was stapled to the baggie. And I just looked at this thing, this baggie with these little patches in it, stared at them, and left really in disbelief. And they sat on my desk literally for about 2 weeks. And I believed in them so little, I didn't even try them. And after a couple of weeks, my friend called me back and he said, how do you like the patches? And, the day before, I had swept the patches into the garbage without even trying them. They had been on the desk and they're in the sun, kind of curling up in the heat. So I just threw them out. And if it wasn't for him following up with me, we wouldn't be talking today. I'm sure you may be involved, but I wouldn't be here. And so that's that's how I got started. And basically, when he called me, when I told him I threw them in the garbage, he got mad at me, made me promise that he was going to send me 2 more pairs of patches, this time a pair for my wife as well. And he made me promise that I would try them and I would let him know, give him a call after I try them. So anyway, I promised. And when I got the patches, the next set of patches, I got great results with the energy enhancer patches, and I put them on my wife the next morning. I didn't tell her what they were because I wanted to verify that her results were as good as mine. And I just said, here, I put them on her wrist. I said, let me know how you feel. That day, I didn't see my wife for the whole rest of the day. And it wasn't until 10:30 that night, I started looking for my wife. I couldn't find her anywhere. And she had been cleaning up every room of the whole house. And the last place I looked, she was in the garage, my domain. She was cleaning up the garage at 10:30 at night. I said, what are you doing in here? She said, I'm cleaning up. She says, what time is it? I said, it's 10:30. She says, 10:30. She says, get these things off me. And she rips them off her wrists, throws them down. And she says, I'm going to bed. Well, needless to say, I joined the next day and we never looked back. The patches definitely worked. It really, this was the beginning of a wonderful adventure. I started building, globally, even though the company wasn't even prepared to. And that was a real challenge, the company really trying to go global before we were really ready. But, it was fun. And in our first year with just the energy enhancer patch, the single product focus, and that was really the key, the single product focus with the energy enhancer patches. We put, the first year we did $17 million in sales.
Wow.
So, and I always knew single product focus was the key. However, over the years, we kind of diluted that single product focus with a lot of other great products, but we kind of lost that single product focus. And we had a lot of great products, and it was really, something, we were building the foundation of the future company, really. And this really allowed us to build the foundation of LifeWave over the following 15 years as LifeWave continued to roll out, the Silent Night patch for sleep and the YH patches, etc. And really the marketplace, we weren't bringing in a lot of network marketers. We were bringing in mainly health professionals and growing the business around the world with a lot of health professionals, that were duplicating kind of slowly, trying to share a dozen patches at a time, which wasn't really the best, fastest way to duplicate. So we weren't really attracting a lot of network marketers, but we were doing well. The company went through a lot of rough patches, but really because of the power of the patches and the effectiveness of the patches, we just kept growing and kept growing. And 15 years later, I found myself with my wife Spira. This was in 2017. She started to get fibromyalgia, and she started to get some kind of autoimmune issues with and swollen joints and painful joints and things like that. And it just kept getting worse and worse. In 2018, ended up seeing a specialist, and they diagnosed her with some autoimmune disease, which was kind of they just want to put labels on everything. She started to, everything my wife ate was causing inflammation and pain in her joints. The joint pain would get worse. It would get, at nighttime, it would continue to get worse. And eventually she couldn't even turn door handles. She couldn't carry a cup, without, palming it in her hand. She started to need me to dress her in the morning. She couldn't put on her clothes. I had to do all the cooking, the cleaning. She couldn't drive anymore. She couldn't cook. She really couldn't do any housework or anything. And I spent my time looking, searching and researching, trying to find what was wrong with her. I kind of figured out that definitely she was, she had some leaky gut, which is, that's often behind a lot of autoimmune issues. So I, gave her some supplements for that. And, they typically take, 9 months to a year to start seeing results with supplements. And then coming in, it was around July of 2018, David Schmidt called and said, look, I'm going to send you a couple of packs of patches. I think, I want you to try them. I think Spira may see some benefit. I'd like to, hear if she finds any benefit. So anyway, I said, great, please send them. And I got these X39 patches. It was just in a white envelope. And really the prototype name was X39. David said, we're going to be renaming it, but this is the prototype name. So we got these patches, and I dressed my wife. I dressed Spira that morning, helped her down to the kitchen. And, she was always in pain. She never smiled. Everything she ate caused inflammation. There's only a few foods she could eat. Her whole diet was down to hemp, protein, berries, and just greens, like spinach greens and stuff like that. So I was feeding her basically hemp and berry shakes, and hemp roll-ups with stuff with spinach and balsamic vinegar. It was kind of like that was her meal because everything else was causing inflammation. So she was in really rough shape. She lost a lot of weight. Well, I dressed her that morning, brought her down to the kitchen, said, I want to do a couple muscle tests. I said, put the X39 in the palm of your hand. She did that. She held out her hand. She knew, what to do. She held out her arm, and I did a couple of muscle tests. And I tell you, she was in so much pain. I pressed down on her arm, and she was in so much pain. And so I didn't continue that too much. I just said, keep the patch in her hand. And within about 5 minutes, she started to get tears rolling down her face, but she wasn't crying. They were tears of joy. And for the first time in many months, she smiled because she was always in pain. She never smiled. All night long, I just hear her moaning all night in pain. And here she was smiling, and she was really, I could definitely tell, something was happening. She told me she had like a warmth sort of just flow over her body, this warmth. And then she, from that point on, I ended up putting, she wore the X39 under her belly button. And David Schmidt that time said, don't wear any other patches. We don't know, if there's going to be any other, if it's going to affect, the X39 or not. So we just want to wear just test the X39 alone. So she just put the X39 on below the belly button every night, took them off the next morning, every day. And a week later, my wife, who previously, Spirit couldn't even lift up a glass of water or a fork. She was in the kitchen, and my daughter and I were in the family room, and we heard some banging in the kitchen. And we went running in there, wondering what's going on, who's in there. And here's Spira in there hammering a chicken meat with a tenderizing hammer, making dinner for the first time in I don't know how long, many months. And
Amazing.
she was. This was a week later. It was really a miracle. Fast forward about 3 weeks after that, it was about 25 days after she started using the patch. So it was just less than a month. Really, her pain was consistently down from a 10 out of 10 down to 2 out of 10. She was driving her car again. She was eating all the foods that she couldn't eat before. She was enjoying life. She had her life back, and I had my wife back. We started to dream again about going south, and it's funny, that's where we are now. So I got fast forward another 2-3 months. It was her 65th. No, it was her 60th birthday, and on her 60th birthday, decided I'm gonna take the family and everybody to Dominican Republic to celebrate her birthday. Went down there, went hiking up the mountains to the waterfalls, and no problem. We went down to the beach, and she noticed her eyes were improving, which was so exciting because every time in the past when we go to the beach, she could never find her way back to us. When she'd be by the water, she couldn't see anything without her glasses. But for this time, she actually could find her way back. So her eyes were improving. And ever since then, every time she'd go to the eye doctor every year, it was a continual improvement in her eyesight ever since. Her skin was getting better. Her hair was getting darker. It was just, amazing to see, the change in Spira. And, it's just, and she's continued wearing the X39 every day without fail ever since. And if I ever got low on patches, she'd be the first one to start panicking, because she never wanted to run out of patches. So I knew we had something here. And then the next month, that was in Muncie, Austria, we launched X39 to the world. And when we look at that, that was a really important milestone for LifeWave, because we went from patches that were, a dozen different patches, basically a lot of lifestyle patches, energy enhancer patches, sleep, etc., to really a one product focus with the X39. And when we launched when we flew to Muncie, Austria, and Spira went up on the stage, climbed up the stairs to get to the top of the stage, gave her testimonial. She was in tears. She had everybody in the audience in tears. And after she gave her testimonial, she couldn't find the stairs. And she was so energetic at that point, she jumped off the stage without even caring about looking for the stairs. And that just, really displayed, how improved, how much improvement she had with the X39. And at that time, I went on the stage and, basically let everyone know that, because of, the X39, I was, recommitting myself to LifeWave and to sharing X39 with the world. How could I possibly keep something as important, as X39 a secret? That could potentially help so many millions of people around the world. To keep it a secret really be a crime. So since then, I started sharing X39 with friends of mine. And one of the first people was my friend in New Jersey, Japanese friend. He immediately, he tried the patches, tried the X39, documented his results every day in an Excel file on his computer. So he was very meticulous, as the Japanese are. He, would every day write his blood pressure, his and his blood sugar levels. And it was after about 3 weeks, he'd give me an update every week or so. And these patches were brand new, so I had no idea what to expect. And he after 3 weeks, he said, it's nothing's. There's been no improvement, but he was hopeful still. So it was amazing though. In the fourth week, he showed me his entries in his Excel file. In the fourth week, the numbers prior to that were always never went below 150, his blood sugar. And then the fourth week, they dropped throughout that week down to a low at the end of the week of 89. And then we knew something had happened. Those stem cells had gone to work and definitely had done something. And over the next week, it dropped to about 89. Next week to about 79. Month. Over the next month, it dropped to about 79, then down to 69. And at that point, he was concerned about his blood sugar getting too low, and was adjusting his medication. So he started sharing the X39 with his friends in Japan, and over the next 3 years, Japan grew to over $100 million in sales, and it was 95% was under this one friend of mine out of New Jersey who got results and shared with his friends in Japan, and also one of his Japanese friends. Many of you may know Yoshihiro in Los Angeles, and since then we haven't looked back, and it's been an incredible opportunity. So you never know, that one person can change the world, for sure. So you never want to disqualify anybody, as you know, because we've got something here that is for everyone, and can impact everyone and their loved ones and their family and their circle of influence. And that's how we're building the business, and that's how we're all growing and sharing David Schmidt's vision and care for the world. Thanks, everybody.
Well, David, that is so beautiful. I was thinking because in August of 2018, David Schmidt gave you a call and changed your wife's life and yours. And in October 2018, Kai Jacobson called us and changed my wife's life and ours. So, fast forward 3 months later, we had no idea what X39 was. He just mentioned stem cell. Robin says,
how fast can I get it?
Exactly.
Yeah. She wasn't experiencing as many symptoms as Spear was, but and we didn't choose to go down a diagnostic path. So we didn't know, she didn't know what was wrong. She just knew it wasn't right. And
yeah. And I just want to say, I so vividly remember, and I've shared this with you, David, the email that you sent from Austria of saying, this is way bigger than stem cells, you guys. You got to learn about this copper peptide. And it was my introduction to the copper peptide. And you were so effusive, and it was so touching. And I went, oh boy, I knew we were in the right place at the right time, but I had no idea what that really meant. Yeah. Thank you.
And it turns out really it's a lot more than just stem cells, right?
Yeah,
it's a lot more than just stem cells.
A third of it anyway.
Yeah.
It's a big piece, but that's not the whole picture.
Yeah.
Well, that was the first wave, those first 14 years. And God bless you for hanging in there. And God bless David for getting that inspiration, because that inspiration of X39 changed the destiny and the course. And it really started what, we're calling the second wave. And by God's grace, you were there for the first wave. By God's grace, we were here for the second wave, And when we got that call from Kai, everything shifted. Robin Doc, to this day, Dr. Nicholas calls Robin best customer ever because she started as a customer, no intention of building the business, got such amazing results. She couldn't not start talking about it. And I'm watching from my office, listening to her, getting more and more excited. It got to be a point. At one point, I had to rename the company LifeWave because I could hardly get a word in with her edgewise. She was so excited about X39. And Kai didn't tell us about anything else. We didn't know about the other patches. I guess we kind of knew they were there, but the only patch Robin used for the first 90 days was X39.
Right, right.
And actually, you were at the conference. Gregory was home. He wasn't able to attend in 2020. And they gave this award for the people that made it to the top of the plan in less than a year. And there were 5 people on stage, and they were all on our team. And then I remember getting off the stage and several people coming up to me going,
Doing
"What are you doing? I've been here for 15 years and I'm not at the top of the plan." And I just repeated what Gregory initiated and has become, worldwide, is the single product focus in a multi-product company. Because, he taught me simplicity and duplication equals success. This is one patch. It does more than anything else. You can put it anywhere and it's going to work. And I went,
That's right.
okay.
Yeah.
So we
Right
do.
back to where we started with one patch.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
really what kicked us off for the first
Yep.
time. And the second wave, one patch kicked us off in the second wave.
Yep.
Isn't that interesting? So we have a new technology that's going to kick off the third wave.
Yeah.
That's
Want
right.
to talk about it?
And I really I'm so grateful to both of you for taking the baton and taking it into the next wave.
Yeah, yeah, we were blessed to ride and help create that next wave because coming from at that point I had 30 years of experience, full-time experience on the field and corporate side, and I knew that simplicity, as Robin said, is the key to success in his business. And so we really initiated the single product focus in the multi-product company, which now is embraced worldwide because it works. I mean, and that's where all the folks that came up to talk to Robin at the 2020 conference and what are you doing? I think to them, X39 got added to the plate. It's like the waitress bringing you the dessert plate. Would you like anything? And all of a sudden, chocolate cake was added, and there was 9 other things there, and people go, "Wow, do I want that or that or that or that or that?" And we got it. We threw everything else off the platter, and all there was chocolate cake,
Yep,
X39. There's nothing else existed,
that
and
was smart.
yeah, and I think to this day, it still remains, from what I hear, 60 to 65% of our global sales is X39 to this day. So
I believe it. I would expect it to be higher than that.
it may even be higher than that. They don't give us the detailed custom, but we know it's the majority of sales. And the fastest growing groups, the fastest growing individuals are those that lead with that single product focus and get out of the healthcare practitioner oh, well, you should try this one, this, and this one there, and put this one there. In extreme circumstances, if someone was just in a car wreck, yeah, you might want to pull out some of the other patches. But
And a
yeah,
few other things,
yeah.
but we always want to keep it simple. But if someone isn't sleeping, they're in serious pain, they have a serious illness, then, we'll talk about other things, but still keep it very simple. And I think that's a challenge for some people that just want to learn everything. And it's great, but it's not going to help you build your business.
So that second wave is what I'm calling it, began back there in 2018. And here we are in 2026, okay? And we're ready for the third wave. And this is so exciting because I know you and I, David, worked together on a comp plan committee 3 years ago, and then the company took it over and brought in consultants. Now we have comp plan 2.0. And I know you've been working with the steering group and myself and fine tuning it. And we just want to let everybody know there's some really nice fine tuning in process. Some of the information might have got leaked out to some of you, but it'll be generally known to everyone very soon. Some really nice enhancements, fine tuning to the plan. And ironically, some really nice fine tuning to X2O is also in process because, there was initial pilot run in manufacturing. There was about 500 units to put out there, beta test, a large beta test with 500 people. But from that, we were able to determine if we tweak this, do that. So David took it back to engineering, back to manufacturing, and we now know that the new second generation machines are in manufacturing. They're going to start delivering them in March to all of us that have received one of the first generation machines. We're going to get that replaced at no charge. Thank you, David. But that new machine, well, we don't know what it's going to do more than the old machine, but we know that the refiner's fire has been applied, and we know it's going to be ready for market. The first generation wasn't ready for market. Okay. Although we have one and we use it every day.
So
Our
do
dogs, our cats, and I deliver water to a dear friend that was in hospice, and now she's just bouncing back. So wonderful things. When we add the water to the patches and the cellar guys, it's like we're laying the foundation for this third wave that we're going to see in 2026. And X39 and everything else, the foundation in the first wave with the infrastructure, the addition of X39 in the second wave with the infrastructure. Now we're ready to go in the third wave when we add X2O, which we could start a whole nother company with X2O. And that company itself could go to $1 billion, like some of the other water companies that don't have anything close to us. But
absolutely.
I just don't have any doubt that that's going to power us to 1 billion and more now. So maybe any closing thoughts, because you got the inside scoop on a lot, but I'm so excited. And I know it's been a little challenging, because people are disappointed the X2O didn't get launched at conference. The 2.0 did, and it needed some fine tuning, but here we are. We're very close to having both of those things fine-tuned and ready to go together. OMG, I'm very, very excited.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The
And
X2O
just
has
in case,
been
go ahead.
it's miracle water.
You know what? We have one of our
Holy water.
local people. Her grandson calls it, "Grandma, I want some of that magic water."
He's 5.
Yes, and she's been having so much fun with it. Yeah, and we get to hear miracle stories. So we are sitting on something that, we don't even know how amazing it is. We know a little bit, but we're in the right place at the right time with the right company. And, it's like you've been through a lot of bumps in your 21-year journey with LifeWave, and bumps, business has problems. And David did share that there's been more challenges with X2O than he's ever come across because there's some forces out there that don't want this technology. And it's not the company that's disappointed us. There's been some unexpected challenges, shall we say. But now it's ready, and we're really excited, and it's going to be so fun to take this next chapter with you guys.
And I
Yeah.
noticed Anne Moreau just wrote in the chat that her neighbor's 2 little daughters call it magic water, and they're 3 and 4. So,
Yeah,
you
we,
know,
we don't need to make any claims. Just call
uh-uh,
it magic water.
I,
that's
I
right.
think that works. Works for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do believe history's in the making, and by God's grace, we're here to help make history together. So thank you, David and Spira and everybody. I think we're just going to bring this call to a wrap right now. There's nothing else we need to talk about. We covered some of the other little stuff, but thank you, brother David, and we're excited to see where this, where X2O, where the magic water takes us.
And we love traveling the world with you guys.
You
Yeah.
Yeah,
as
so
well.
Yeah.
okay, thanks
Bye.
everyone.
Okay,
Good
everybody.
night.
Bye.